The ACU women's basketball team is headed to Katy after a big win Saturday. I'm Max Preston.
And I'm Grant Boone. We'll look back at the victory that punched the Wildcats' ticket to the conference tournament and preview the pair of games this week. This is the Julie Goodenough Show right now. Welcome to this week's episode of the Julie Goodenough Show. I'm Grant Boone from the JMC Network studios at Abilene Christian University alongside senior journalism major Max Preston and the head women's basketball coach at ACU, Julie Goodenough. Coach, congratulations. Your team has punched its ticket to Katy with a victory over Southeastern Louisiana last Saturday. I know that you're focused on a top 4 seed. You'd get a bye, maybe even a double bye, still mathematically alive for that, but the significance in your mind of simply being one of 8 out of 13 teams to make it to Katy is what?
Oh, well, it's an awesome place to be with 4 games remaining on your schedule. Last year, we were just fighting, the last couple of weeks. We got to get one more. And so it's a really good feeling. Like, we've got 4 games left. Now we can just really focus on jockeying for the best position possible in the tournament. So to know you're in it is awesome. And so we can focus on the task at hand, and that's just the very next game, knowing that for sure we're going to be in the tournament.
So you have 4 games left this season. I don't know about you, but to me, the season has flown by. But so you go 1 at home, then 2 on the road, and then you end at home. Do you like this end to the schedule, or would you rather have it some other way?
I prefer this end over last year's end. So I like being at home, to end the season and have senior night, truly your last game of the year. But I think the schedule has been very favorable to our team. I mean, we started on the road at the beginning of conference play, but we've got a junior-laden team, and I think they handled themselves well doing that. And so I like where we are and like the remainder of our schedule. It's going to be very difficult. We've got some big challenges ahead of this week. It's going to be super tough. But the season has flown by. We played 29 regular season games, and we're down to 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, wow,
it's
here
crazy.
we are. Yep.
Well, we'll preview those games coming up this week in just a moment, but when we come back, I'll look back at that big victory over Southeastern Louisiana that punched their ticket to Katy in a moment. This is the Julie Goodenough Show. The ACU women's basketball team with just 1 game last week. You hosted Southeastern Louisiana. Coach, you win it by 20, 86-66. You didn't play Wednesday, and I just can't help but wonder, to my eye, it looked like a team Saturday that had used its time off well. You had a pep in your step, didn't you?
I appreciate you saying that, and I hope that we did use our time wisely. I mean, I would agree. I think that we had a little extra energy, we had a little extra pep on Saturday because we didn't play on Wednesday, and we didn't have to travel Thursday and Friday. And so I thought our team played with a lot of energy and just seemed to be mentally locked in as well.
Yeah.
So just before halftime, Dominique Golightly, she makes the crowd go crazy with a tip-in shot. Not even a second remains on the clock, but it's enough for her to put you guys up 17 at the half. Just run us through this process and this play call after an athletic finish by Dom.
Well, first of all, I was a little aggravated that Maddie Miller wasn't shooting 3 free throws because
she
she was sort of in the act of shooting when they called the foul, but we get it on the sideline, and we just call one of our normal sideline out-of-bounds plays, and Dom told Maddie, throw it high, and I was like, Dom, you're going to have to tip it in. You have 0.7. You're going to have to tip it in, and it was so well executed, and Dominique hit the shot.
She did just that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Some of her friends and family were here. They were hanging over the railing as we were going back to the locker room. They were so fired up for her, but very well executed. And I don't know if anybody else in the gym can make that play but Dawn, but she used her athleticism to finish the shot, catch and finish.
You're right, 0.7. Had she caught it and come down and then gone back up, I don't think there's any way she gets the shot off. Second half, I thought the game, and I said this on the ESPN broadcast, I thought it kind of ground to a halt. There were 35 fouls called. You noticed as well, clearly. They shot 22 free throws. I think you shot 21 for like 43 combined free throws in the second half alone. But you never let them closer than 13. And we've talked about this with Coach Golding as well. There is something about playing with a big lead that every coach would like to have, but it's not easy. What are the challenges when you have a big lead to try to keep it and maybe even build it?
Well, our players are human, and they look up at the scoreboard and they see we're up 18 or we're up 17, and you do drop a little bit of your intensity because you're like, hey, we built up this big lead, and you've got to find that killer instinct, that killer mentality. And we told our players at halftime, do not even look at the scoreboard when you go out. Let's go out like we're down 5. Let's play with that kind of aggressiveness. So it's a mentality that's tough, and the free throws, my gosh, just took all the rhythm out of the game. And both teams were getting free throws.
They were,
it wasn't one-sided. Both teams, I guess, decided to start fouling and then throw in the 2.5-minute media timeouts. And it just took a long time to finish the third quarter for sure.
It really did.
Yeah, so Dominique, she had her fair share of spotlight in that game, but Lexi Duque, she also had a very good game. She went 7 of 11 from the field. She had 18 points and 7 rebounds. How big of an impact was she in that game and the past few games as well?
One of our big keys to the game was to feed the post players. We felt like our posts were going to be guarded one-on-one, and that they could capitalize if we fed them in the low block area. And Lexi did a great job of just getting her girl deep. If you feed Lexi with 2 feet in the paint, she's hard to guard. And she just did a nice job of finding the glass and making shots when her guards fed her.
One thing I remember we discussed back in the non-conference, Lexi had gotten off, let's say statistically speaking, just looking at the box scores, to an okay start, nothing eye-popping. She goes for 25 against Shriner. And I know it's a D3 school, but you had a hunch that maybe it's like a golfer seeing a putt go in. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter who the opponent is, big game 25. Since then, she's racked up double-digit points and big rebounds ever since.
Yeah, we have 4 players that are averaging in double digits in conference play, and she's one of those. She now has become our leading rebounder, so she's been a really consistent player for us. She's in the top 10 in field goal percentage right now, so she's our go-to post player.
Well, you'll need her. You'll need the whole team this week because you host Corpus Christi on Wednesday, and then you go down and play Central Arkansas or Northeast, go up a little bit to play Central Arkansas and Conway on Saturday. We will preview those games in a moment. This is the Julie Goodenough Show. Just 4 games, 2 weeks left in the regular season for the ASU women's basketball team. A pair of games this week, one at home, one on the road. Coach, let's begin with Texas A&M Corpus Christi. What a game down there in Corpus. You played late January. You got out to a 20-point second-half lead. They come roaring back, as you knew they would. Clutch shots and free throws from Dominique Golightly and Bree Wright. You win the game by 4. Since then, they've played a murderer's row here in the last couple of weeks. They've taken on Stephen F. Austin, handed the Lady Jacks their only conference loss so far. Then they got handled pretty good by Lamar, which is tied for first with Stephen F. You host them this week. They're always a handful, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And I've known Royce Chadwick for a long time. I played for his dad in college, and he's very similar to his dad as far as their philosophy. I mean, they're going to come in and they're going to work extremely hard. They're going to compete. One of the best rebounding teams in the conference, very athletic. You'll look forward to full court pressure or a half court trap. I mean, they're not going to let you relax at all offensively. So you've got to be prepared to, get the ball across half court, and then you've got to execute quickly. They're trying to get you to use a lot of clock just so they don't have to guard your half court sets for 29 seconds. And so, the next couple of days, we're going to really emphasize just taking care of the basketball and executing, getting the shots that we want, regardless of what they're doing on defense.
So you're on the road Saturday for Central Arkansas. They sit alone in 8th place right now, and they're fighting for a spot in the tournament, which they won back-to-back 2 and 3 years ago. They're really just a program you can't ever overlook. What do you have to take care of Saturday to get that win in their place?
Well, Coach Rushing is a phenomenal coach. She's been successful at every level, and her team is probably in her eyes underachieving a little bit this season, and I know she's going to have them fired up about getting wins this week and securing that spot in the conference tournament. They have the best point guard in the league in Camry Orr, and she put on a show when they came here. We had a pretty comfortable lead at halftime, and then she just put the team on her shoulders, and it got pretty scary there for a while in the fourth quarter. So they'll be really tough to beat at their place. I feel like rolling into this game on Wednesday, we need to play with confidence. We need to get a win Wednesday just so we can roll into Conway feeling good about how we're playing right now.
Yeah. This is fun, isn't it?
It is.
4 games to
It
go.
is. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And, this is what you work for. This is why you work all summer. It's why you work all fall. It's to get yourself in this position to have a good seed in the tournament and then just give it your best shot in the tournament.
17-8, you're off and running this year in terms of surpassing last year's win total, and 10-4, tied for 3rd place in the conference. Some huge games coming up. So it's Wednesday night at home against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and then on the road at Central Arkansas Saturday. Come out and support the Wildcats at Moody on Wednesday night. For Max Preston and for the coach, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the Julie Goodenough Show. We'll see you right here next week.